Wholeness, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is contentment. When you stand under an apple tree expecting the scent of oranges. This is a really, I think, a very important topic. We live in an age where I feel like we're being asked to ask ourselves what the true definition of success is. We as individuals have to ask ourselves what is the definition of success, because there's so much pressure to go and do, as a friend of mine mentioned. You know, he's an older gentleman, but he had a great point about how obsessed people are with doing instead of being, right? And even with myself, I have so many goals, and eventually you all will see the product of those and the results of those, but those goals. But at the same time, it's like we're not really grateful for what we have. We're constantly chasing after the next big thing. I want a bigger paycheck. I want a bigger this. I want a bigger home. I want bigger success. I want to expand my business. I want to go here. I want bigger, more. And we have to slow down and ask ourselves if we're truly happy with what we have in front of us. And if we're unhappy with what we have, why? What's making us feel unhappy about what's in front of us? And I'm asking myself this question right now. I truly am. I'm asking myself this question. Where is the discontent? Why do I feel like I need to go after this or this or this? I'm a very creative person. I'm very, very artistic, very creative. I like creating things. I told you guys a little bit about my music background. And it's exciting. I think if you find yourself getting excitement out of going after, like, let's say you meet your goal and you still find yourself wanting to go above and beyond, and it's lighting something up inside you, go for it. But then I think the trip up with finding contentment in what we do and what we create and how we live is the comparison. When we begin to compare, it's almost like, especially in the digital world, it's like, well, these people have, I have 500 views, or 500 subscribers, but then this channel has 5,000 subscribers, or I have 5,000 subscribers, but this person has 15,000, or this person has 50,000, or 500,000, or 5 million. I have 5 million subscribers, but I want 15 million, right? Where do we stop? Where do we stop? And I think we have to go back to the beginning, and we have to know our why. And I'll make a video on that, actually. Knowing your why and why you're doing what you're doing, I think, is the key to finding content in what you do. When you don't know why you're doing something, when you don't know why you want to return to school, when you don't know why you want to start a business, when you don't know why you want to move here, move there, when you don't know why you want to be single, you're right, or you don't know why you want to try out a new partnership, this is where we trip up, and this is where we kind of go down this whole path of unhappiness and failure, so that we can finally come back to ourselves again, and we start from ground zero. We start from the foundation yet again. This is part of the life cycle, I believe, because anyone that is content with what they do and how they live, like, let's say for a farming and homesteading, it's a very simple life, but it's simple in a way that you're not having to meet the demands of the systems in place, right? As a homesteader, But it's a very, it can be, it's not a soft life, it's a hard life. Okay, you got to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, feed your animals, you have to tend to the crops, you have to water the crops, you have to find you know uh, 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 sources and places to sell your products. You have to be very adaptable to the weather, right? And you have to always have plans and backup plans. You have to be really good with budgeting, and you have to be very self-reliant. You have to build a strong community just in case you run out of a resource, and you have someone that can help you. You help them. You have to be good at not bribing. Oh my God, you have to be good at bargaining, um, all that stuff. So it's like when something that is a soft life may be a very hard life to someone else, and a hard life, I feel, what makes life hard is discontent. Yeah, what makes life hard is discontent, because it's like when you're not enjoying what you're doing and it's just grueling work and you're working yourself to the bone, you shouldn't really be doing it. And I'm not saying the things that you set out to do are easy. You're going to run into challenges. You're going to have a hard day. It's going to go up and down, those ups and downs shouldn't be drastic. It should be pretty even kill, right? That's what I call a very balanced life, where you just have those ups and downs, but you're still able to find a center. You're still able to be grounded in what you're doing. It's when those ups and downs are too drastic and you're constantly having to re-glue yourself to your foundation. You're constantly struggling to find your center. You're constantly mentally and emotionally and physically fatigued. You're exhausted. And so a homesteader can the soft life of, let's say, someone who works for a corporation, that could be exactly what you want, and you find contentment in that. Or you're not really meant for that, and it's a very hard lifestyle. You're making six figures, but you're miserable. You have no content in what you do. And so, you make that switch, you make that turn, to finding what's in alignment for you. Now, the title, which I thought was so beautiful, I was watching a movie called Madame Bovary, and I think it's just called Bovary, but it was a young French girl who marries she's in a convent, right? And she is married off to a young doctor. He just finished his medical or school. He just finished medical school, and now he is, a trained but very young doctor. And so they have I would say she has a soft life. She governs their home, and they live in a very small, quiet French town or village, and so she's very bored. She's not really content. She's not content with her husband. She's not content with their food. She's not content with her clothes. She's not content. There's no excitement. She can't see the beauty in what she has in her soft life. So guess what she does? She makes her life very, very difficult. She begins to go beyond her means. She accrues debt, financial debt, getting the best gowns and the most expensive gowns and the most expensive cutlery and upholstery, and and her husband is unaware, and she's not sensually or sexually satisfied by her husband. She doesn't communicate anything. She doesn't sit down to try to figure herself out and what her needs or her wants are. She tries to fill this void. And we're living in a society that's very much like that. And sadly, the story is a cautionary tale. She ends up taking her own life, right? On the outside, people can look like they're content with their life, but cracks always show. Cracks always show. When in true alignment, people, it's when the frequency of contentment is... It's like you're not in ecstasy and you're not in agony. It's just right in the middle. You realize the beauty of what life brings, and you also realize how it's finite, how there is an ending, there is a death. So you appreciate this beautiful balance. You appreciate this beautiful balance, life, death, life cycle. And that's when you know, when someone, you visit a friend and they're making six figures, that's when you know. You can tell. It's like not too happy, not too sad, right? It's just this beautiful, and you can feel they're content with where they're at in their life and what they're doing and how they're being. Their beingness is able to just expand, and it's just beautiful. And then you'll meet people who live very simple. A farmer, right? And you can tell when a farmer or a homesteader is you know, they don't have the most expensive shit. They don't have the most expensive technology. You don't know how much money they have because they don't look like they have much. But they're full, they're abundant, and they're at peace. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I that's what I'm looking for within my own life, is just this beautiful space where I'm content with what I do and how I am and how I conduct myself. And they're just people who are in that space of neutrality seem at peace. They're just at this, and it's a certain kind of peace, you know, where they're not, it's not a fake, like everything's fine, you know. And then I've met people who try the homesteading lifestyle and they're miserable. Like, cracks are huge. Everything's grueling. Everything's too much. A small project's too much. You know, and on the flip side, I've seen people who make over six figures and they're miserable too. So that's what I'm saying. We must redefine, you know, what success is. You know, and I loved it, but that's what the phrase comes from. When you stand under an apple tree expecting the scent of oranges, you bypass the beauty of the apple tree. You know, you're completely just so like, I don't even care, I want more. That's not what I wanted. And it's very, very sad. And this also happens in a lot of relationships with people. Tons. Grass is always greener on the other side. Personally, I have to say this, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm very grateful. It's never really been an issue for me of being in a partnership with someone and then and then being bored, or they're not exciting enough for me. I've never really had that. And so I've always kind of struggled with understanding other people who are. They're just like, oh, this is a boring relationship. He's just too nice. He's too kind. He's too rich, or he's too simple. You know, and it's just, you know, or she's just too pretty, she's just too this, she's too kind, she's too nice, I just have to, you know, there's something better out there. And there's a difference between being content and settling. People settle all the time. They settle. Settling is actually a form of lying, of dishonesty. Settling to me is you're being lazy and dishonest all at the same time. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with the other. You're just kind of going along and waiting until the next, you know, gravy train comes flowing down. It's actually very, very sad. And people settle as a form of safety, really, and comfort. And that's one thing in my life where, apart from the whole safety thing, I've never had issues with that per se. I have moments, but not so severe. But I will say it's I've deliberately put myself in spaces of discomfort because I thrive off of adaptability. I may not have much material gain to show, but the wisdom, the experiences I've had in my travels, the different career or professional experiences I've had in multiple different industries have always been they're jewels to me. They're profound. They've enriched my life. So I may not have a lot to show off, right? Whether I got, oh, look at me, I have 20 acres of land. I don't have that. Or hey, look at me, look at my salary. Look at what I got here. I don't have that either at the moment, but because anything could happen and anything could change. But paying attention to what's right in front of you and appreciate the apple tree, appreciate the apple blossoms, appreciate the beautiful, you can lean up and hug the tree, appreciate what's being produced right in front of you. Whatever you ask for, you shall receive. And sometimes we're not always ready for what we ask for. Sometimes we're scared to ask for what we need. Sometimes we're scared to ask for more if it's not quite right. Right? Because, hey, there's nothing wrong if you prefer oranges over apples. Just don't waste time. Don't waste your time. Being very clear also about what you want can help you be content with your life, with what you have, with what's right in front of you. If you're not upfront from the get, you're going to just kind of go along and settle, all the while holding in all this resentment towards yourself or towards another person or towards a job or towards the place you live. No, be clear cut in what you want. Be straightforward in what you want and what you desire to experience, and things will be the probability of you being content with your life will go up. Is everything perfect? Is anything that I'm saying just like, no? It's complex. It's colorful. Nothing's black and white. Life is full of color. Life is full of color, and yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And just remember, take it all in. Take it all in. And if it's not resonating with you, then leave it behind. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. One more thing. A lot of people believe that, oh, I wasted my time on this person. All right? But it goes the other way around too, because the person who's in the wrong, right? The person who's in the wrong, they're tricking themselves into believing that they didn't waste anything, that they didn't waste their time. It goes both ways, right? But I mean, who's to say it's not a waste really? We're all just here learning from each other. So nothing can be wasteful. I don't really believe in regret either. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward into the next message for you. See ya.